As I have my mic muted, sorry. Hello, fellow knights. Welcome back to another video. So, you guys know I'm a Star Wars fan, and if you guys been with me for a bit of time now, that you guys will probably figure out I'm a Star Wars fan without me having to tell you I'm a Star Wars fan. And how I'm not a huge fan of Disney Star Wars per se. I prefer the um Lucas era Star Wars over these Disney era Star Wars, but that's besides the point for this video. I have yet to go to the parks uh since the year Rogue One came out. And at the time, I don't think there were any characters from Star Wars roaming around. And at that time, the Star Wars land, Bot 2, I think it's called, or Galaxy's Edge, was yet to be built. And I personally think that is stupid how they thought, hey, we can only do the sequel trilogy and get away with it. There's enough fandom for it, right? How pretty much discarding like prequel prequel fans and original trilogy fans, which I am in the category of original trilogy and prequel fan. A tad bit more of the prequel side than in terms of like practical effects. Story wise, I do think the original and prequels kind of go neck and neck for me, especially after watching the sequel trilogy, but that's besides the point. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about how apparently Luke Skywalker is set to return to the parks. So, despite Lucasfilm moving forward with movies outside of the Skywalker saga, it seems that Luke Skywalker is set to return to the franchise. But how did we get here? Following the resignation of former Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy, Dave Filoni, chief creative officer, was elevated to co-president of the Disney-owned studio, along with Lawin Brennan, who served as a business lead. The new leadership comes at an important time at the Star Wars franchise as the studio makes its big return to the movies for almost 7 years after the rise of Palpatine, as I like to call Episode 9. For technically, it's this month. Next month, by the time this article is read, written, but this month, um, Jon Favreau's The Mandalorian and Grogu, starring Pedro Pascal, will debut. And in 2027, Lucasfilm's first ever standalone movie, Star Wars Starfighter. I mean, wasn't Solo technically the first standalone Star Wars movie? Because, like, Rogue One tied, like, right into A New Hope, right? And I know technically they had plans for the Solo movie to be a trilogy, but now that's not a trilogy anymore, or going to be a trilogy anymore. Doesn't that technically make Solo the first standalone? Or are they talking about like how like Starfighter is going to be the first Star Wars movie that's intentionally to be a standalone? Because if that's the case, then yeah, they're right. But if it means like a legit standalone movie, then I think Solo, a Star Wars story, will count as the first. So I wonder, what do you guys think? Do you guys think Solo was the first standalone movie, or do you think Starfighter is going to be the first one? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. With temporary expectations from the Mando and Grogu and only Ahsoka Season 2 in production, the Disney Plus front, it seems that once stable Mando first is winding down. Even Filoni's Old New Republic era movie is said to be in limbo due to a priority shift in Lucasfilm. let's be real. Since Filoni is like co-president, I do think that his New Republic movie will still be a go. I think that would like statement last sentence would have more weight if Kathleen Kennedy was still in the president seat. So I do think there's a decent chance that if Filoni is co-president, that his New Republic movie will come into play, especially if they bring Gina Carano in to reprise her role as Cara Dune. I can see that New Republic movie, depending on like I don't fully know what the concept of it is, but I can see if it's supposed to be like years before the New Republic, a lot of eyes get coming towards the theaters more than what it is now if you bring Cara Dune in. Because Cara Dune and Gina Carano are both like people love both characters, so bringing the actress and her character into the mix, I don't know. I think it would make more money, but that's besides the point and a topic for another time. Well, our Star Wars live action media is murky subject. The studio has had continued success with its anime exploits, from the early years of the Clone Wars to more recent entries like Bad Batch and Shadow Lord, Maul Shadow Lord. Animation is a big win for Lucasfilm, and then the popularity of the Tales anthology series. Lucasfilm Tales anthology series has quietly become one of the most compelling corners of modern storytelling, Star Wars storytelling, offering a bit size animated arcs that dive deeper into fan favorite characters and unexplored moments across the galaxy. First launched with Tales of the Jedi in 2022, the series sets a tone with a collection of short episodes centered around Ahsoka Tano and Count Dooku, expanding their backstories in ways that added emotional weight and new perspective to a larger saga. The format proved immediately effective. Rather than committing to a full-length seasons and sprawling narratives, the anthology approach allowed Lucasfilm Animation to tell tightly focused stories, each one filling gaps, reframing familiar events, and shining a light on lesser-seen chapters of a character's life. The result was a series that felt both accessible and sensual, particularly for longtime fans eager to see more of the franchise deeper lore. And I will say this, I do think there will be a need, per se, for like a full 30-minute length, 30 minute to like an hour length episode for shows in Star Wars, but there are like some aspects of storytelling that can honestly see benefiting from 15 minutes of storytelling, such as in the Tales anthology. Because there are some stories where, like, yes, we need that 30 minute to an hour to really flush that story out. And there's other stories where we don't need that much time to have that story fleshed out. Tales of the Jedi is the best example because out of the three anthology series, I feel like that's the best. Three or four ones, sorry. That's the best accepted one. And it's not that hard to see why. So I personally think they should do there's a need for both 30 minutes to an hour length episodes and the Tales anthology type episodes where it's like 15 minutes, get to the point, no fluff, just get to the point. Because, like I said, some stories will benefit for both sets, if that makes sense, if they know how to like identify it and play as needed. Anyways, following the Tales of the Jedi, Lucasfilm had continuing to build on the concept of sequential installments. Tales of the Empire spotlight shifted the spotlight to figures aligned with the dark side of the galaxy, while Tales of the Underworld explores stories rooted in crime and survival beyond the reach of the Jedi and Sith. Each entry maintained the same anthology structure, reinforcing the idea that the Tales banner could serve as a flexible storytelling platform capable of moving between eras, tones, and perspective. You know what? And some of y'all might hate me for this. I'm sorry, but I think, even though I'm not a huge fan of the sequels, them doing like more so like after like Ben Solo perceived Luke was going to kill him. What was that journey like between that moment and when he became Kylo Ren? Did when he first became part of the First Order, then the process of him becoming uh Kylo Ren, right? The head of Kylo Ren. And then the last arc, maybe like showing him like post Last Jedi but pre Rise of Skywalker, or like even like before the final battle of like Rise of Skywalker, just seeing like Kylo Ren's light flicker on and off, like see him being like split between more so between the light and the dark, like what Tales of the New Republic or Tales of the Resistance, where we can kind of get out of Finn, I mean not Finn, Kylo Ren, and another maybe of like Finn or Rey or um Poe Dameron, getting those three, one of those three's backstory, or even I don't know, actually show us and tell us how Palpatine returned. Besides, somehow Palpatine returned. I don't know. Maybe I'm just overthinking this. Anyways, with that foundation in place, attention has now turned into what could come next. According to a new report, the series may be preparing their return to where it all began. This time, one of the franchise's most iconic heroes at the center. Oh, new Luke Skywalker series. I lost my place. A rumor circulating online suggests that the Tales of the Jedi couldn't make a comeback with Luke Skywalker, but just as the lead character in a new batch of episodes. While details remain limited and unconfirmed, the reporting indicates that the character would take on a central role similar to Ahsoka Tano's in the original run, anchoring the narrative across multiple sorts. If accurate, the move the move would mark a significant shift in the anthology series. Up to this point, Tales of the Jedi has largely focused on characters whose stories unfolded on the periphery of the Skywalker saga, using the format to enrich their arcs while directly revisiting the core trilogy heroes. Bringing Luke Skywalker into the fold would represent a more direct engagement with the saga's central legacy, something that could carry both excitement and expectations in equal measure. It's no secret that Luke's portrayal in the sequel trilogy sparked considerable debate among fans, and after a brief silent appearance in The Force Awakens, the character took a far more complex and controversial role in The Last Jedi, depicted as a delusional Jedi Master who had retreated from the galaxy. His story concluded with a sacrificial act that allowed the Resistance to escape, followed by a brief return of the Force as a Force Ghost in Rise of Skywalker. An animated anthology could provide the perfect space to revisit Luke at different points in his life, potentially focusing on his efforts to rebuilding the Jedi Order or his journey across the galaxy in the years following the original trilogy. The format itself lends that the kind of storytelling, which episodes typically run under 20 minutes. Tales of the Jedi can explore key moments without the need for a single overarching plot. That opens the door for a variety of possibilities. Luke training new students, uncovering ancient Jedi knowledge, or confronting challenges that help bridge the gap between Return of the Jedi and his later appearances. Another question surrounding the rumor is whether Mark Hamill could return to voice the character. The actor has remained close associated with Luke Skywalker for decades, while recent Star Wars projects have been a combination of voice work, de-age technology, and digital recreation to bring the character to life. An anime series will offer a straightforward opportunity for Hamill's involvement if Lucasfilm chooses to pursue it. In recent years, Star Wars animation reveals how often, in line with May the 4th, also known as Star Wars Day, even though that's a fan made holiday, admittedly, even though I'm one of those people that likes to celebrate May 4th, but I will admit that May 4th, Star Wars Day is when A New Hope came out. But anyways, a date that has become a focal point for major announcement trailers and surprise releases. Both the Tales of the Empire and Tales of the Underworld follow similar, leading to speculation that any new project of the anthology series could be unveiled around the same time. Um, if a Luke Skywalker led season is indeed in development, they're pretty much saying it will be announced on May 4th, which May 4th is behind us now. So, like, I think at this point, if we were going to get us Luke Skywalker series, then I do think they may announce it on May 14th for the sole fact that it's George Lucas's birthday. And from what I can remember, I think Luke Skywalker is George Lucas's favorite Jedi, but I know he's mine. Anyways, what do y'all think? Let me know in the comment section down below. Love y'all. Have a wonderful day. Be kind to one another. I will talk to you fellow knights later. And may the force be with us all, because we are guarding needed.